Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. So yesterday on my channel, I ran through my LCS Power Rankings for the 2022 Summer Split. But today we're going to be going over my LEC Summer Power Split rankings for 2022. Obviously, LEC starts this weekend. It starts on Friday, and it's just a couple days away, so we got to get all this stuff out beforehand. Obviously, people want to say a bunch of hot takes and stuff right now, and predictions and all that stuff, but you got to get it out beforehand. You got to get it out before the season starts, so once things get rolling, then you actually have an opportunity to say, I told you so, or to look like an idiot, or whatever. You know, it's always like, at the end of the year, everyone's always like, oh, I knew this team was going to be good, or you're an idiot if you said this, that. Well, hey, this is your time to get it out. I'm going to give you guys my power rankings 10-1, and I want to hear your guys as well. But first, a word from today's sponsor, which is Prize Picks. This is daily fantasy made easy. You simply pick your favorite stars, choose your over-under, and watch your players win. They offer all different kinds of LOL esports games. They offer, they do LCS, LEC, they did EU Masters, they did MSI. Right now, I know they're doing LPL because I've made a couple of picks. I have Do and Be under 6.5 kills in games 1 and 2 against AL. And then Rookie, I'm taking the over 3.5 kills against TT in map 3. So if you guys want to go make some picks of your own, definitely check out the first link in the description below. And Prize Picks is actually going to match your first deposit up to $100. Really awesome deal. Hopefully you guys check them out. Shout out Prize Picks. With that being said, let's get right into today's video. So my LCS Power Picks, or my LCS Power Rankings, whatever you want to call it, just as the same as the LCS ones. The LEC ones are going to be for the end of the season. This is going to be at the end of the regular season, end of playoffs. This is who I think is going to Worlds, who I think is going to finish where in the playoffs. Regular season doesn't really matter. It's a bunch of best of ones. It's super volatile. Who cares who's going to finish where at the end of the regular season? We're looking all the way to the end of the year. LEC, my list might be a little bit more controversial. I'm feeling a little bit spicier on this one. I think the bottom few teams are pretty much a lock. You can kind of move them around a little bit. At number 10, I have BDS. BDS is kind of a weird situation going on with them. They're making all different kinds of swaps with their rosters and stuff. Yes, they have a good coach in Grabs, but it seems like the roster's changing a ton. They made some changes. Did they even get better? Obviously, they're going with Aggressivu, Syncroft, Nuclear Int, Xmatty, and Erdote, or Erdote. I still don't even know how to say it. But Xmatty was probably their worst player last split, and he's coming back. But Limit's gone. Adam's gone. I think Aggressivu is an exciting prospect. Syncroft was obviously a beast, but is this team ready to move up farther? I don't know. If you had them 8th, 9th, I wouldn't argue with you too much, but I have them at 10. At number 9, I have Astralis, and it really pains me to have Astralis above 10th because I really hate, so much of what this organization is doing, and I really don't like the offseason they had, but I just really think that, BDS sucks too, so it's hard to put them up too much, but this Astralis team is weird. Vizichachi, Xerxid, Dehor, Kabe, and Zhonghoon. I don't know enough about Zhonghoon. Vizichachi, it's weird that he's coming back into the LEC. I really don't know how he's going to do, but I'm not super excited. He's like 28, 29 years old. Xerxid, I think, is an interesting guy coming back to the LEC. We'll see how that goes. Dehor and Kabe, they're both fine. I like that at least they have, one young player that they're building towards for the future in Dehor. But yeah, I think Astralis, BDS, if you had them 9, had them 10, switch them around, whatever. They're both not exciting. I'm not going to be tuning into very many of either one of their games. BDS is at least more interesting to me because they have a brighter future ahead if Aggressivu does work out, or if Syncroft does continue to be a beast, if Nuclear Int does turn into one of the top mid laners in the LEC, where Astralis, I don't think they have as much hope. So these are kind of the two weakest teams to me. I think SK is the clear 8th team. I think they are better than Astralis and BDS, but they still have a lot of the same issues. SK makes weird roster decisions all the time. Overall, their roster firepower isn't that strong. Their team's pretty boring. I don't know. Gen X, Gilius, Certus, Jezu, Treats. I like Treats. Treats is fun to watch. I think he's a great player. I think he's really exciting. Jezu is maybe a little bit underrated. Gen X maybe a little underrated. Gilius, I still think it's weird he's in the LEC. Certus, not really that impressive. Again, I'm not going to be watching too many SK games, but I think they'll be able to pick up a couple more wins and perform a little bit better, more consistently than BDS and Astralis. But yeah, bottom 3, don't really have a ton to say about any of those teams. Staying away from them mostly. Number 7, this is where we start to get a little bit spicy. I'm actually going with Misfits. And I know this team finished much higher than this in the spring. I think they finished like 3rd or 4th. They were strong throughout the whole year, but I really think they weren't as good as their record. They had a couple crazy comeback wins, 5, 6, 7, 8K plus goal deficits where they came back and won because of VTO. And VTO is obviously a beast. And the team, they had a lot of things going for them. I actually thought Neon was underrated. Mursa was decent. Zlatan was decent. Here, I thought was really disappointing, and having Irrelevant coming in might help this team, but I don't know how Irrelevant's going to do. You know, when these players come up from the ERLs and stuff, sometimes they're able to hold their own right away. Sometimes they need a couple splits, and sometimes they never really come up to that level. But we'll have to see. Again, either way, I think if we just ran back the spring split over again, I don't think Misfits would finish with the record they did very often. I think, you know, they were kind of seen as a pretender coming into the playoffs, really one of those top teams that probably didn't belong. Now, them dropping all the way to 7th is maybe a little bit of a hot take, but I really think the 6 teams ahead of them are all better. And at number 6, I have Excel. I think this is actually an exciting team. I think the pickup of Mickey, I know a lot of people were upset about it, but, Advian was doing good. He deserves to stay, whatever. Mickey is a beast. Mickey is a very, very good player. And Mickey Patrick bot lane, that is very strong. Now, I definitely think this team still has some issues. I don't really love Nuke Duck. I think he's okay. I think he's solid. If you have him, your team will always be okay. You know, they'll probably be good. I don't think you're ever going to be great. And I think they're going to struggle to beat the top teams in the league. I actually like Finn in the top lane. I think he's decent as well. But again, another good, not great player. Excel has some things going for them. And I think they have a chance to be a great team in the future. But for now, I have them at number 6, and I think there's some other really good teams in the LEC. Number 5, I have Vitality. I think this team is going to struggle once again this split. I still think they are, the super team or whatever, and they have a ton of firepower. I think they could even be better in the summer than they were in the spring. If you guys remember, they started out the spring like 0-3, 0-4, something like that, and then from then on, they were better. They ended up going 9-9 or something like that in the regular season, so really, they were 9-6 if you count out the first week where they dropped 0-3. I think Perks has a lot to prove. I think he needs to do better. I think Alfari has a lot to prove. I think Karzi has a lot to prove. Lebrov might be playing for his job. And I don't know if Haru is the answer. I don't think Haru is going to come in and make this team way better, but Perks has been hyping him up. Perks is happy about him. Perks is excited. They were blaming a lot of their issues on Selfmade. So if Selfmade really was the problem, like this team wants to pretend, then Vitality should be a lot better in the summer. If they're not, then there might be some big changes coming to this team in 2023. But either way, I don't think Vitality's headed to Worlds. I got them at number 5. Number 4, I have Rogue. Now, this team is interesting. They are good, even though they probably shouldn't be. They lost Inspired. They lost Hansama. This team was not supposed to be that good anymore. But Larson, still really, really strong. Comp came out of nowhere and was a beast this last split in the spring. Malrong was a big surprise. Odoamne was really solid, and Trimby really stepped up and was a top-tier support for this team. But again, ultimately, they were not able to win a title. They were not able to get it done. There was, maybe still a little bit of the Rogue choking going on. Obviously, a lot less than there was previously, but there's going to be a lot of pressure on this team again. Obviously, G2 won the title. Fnatic's expected to be really strong again. Is Rogue going to be able to pull this out? Are they going to be able to go to Worlds? I'm saying no. I have them at number 4, and that's because I have a surprise team at number 3, which is Mad Lions. I have been saying that I think people are really sleeping on Mad Lions. Yes, they were 7th in spring. Yes, they did not look great in spring, but Niski over Reeker is a huge step up. Not only is it a huge step up individually in the mid lane, Niski could easily be a top 3 mid laner in the summer split. So that's a huge jump up right there. But Niski is also a player who historically makes his teammates play better. And that's awesome, especially for a team like Mad Lions who has talented players. You have Elyoya. If Niski can help Elyoya get back up to his near MVP level or form, that's going to be awesome for Mad Lions. If Niski can help Kaiser get unlocked, if he can help Arma even be serviceable, and then Unforgiven was already solid, I really think the only weakness or the only weak point of this roster at this point is the top lane, where Arma really needs to step it up. And if he doesn't, I think he's going to be out of a job. So he has a ton to prove. I think he can and should be better in the summer. I think Niski is going to help out this team in so many ways. I think he could take them from the 7th place spot all the way to Worlds. It wouldn't shock me. That's definitely the spiciest pick that I'm going with. At number 2, I'm going with G2. I think that they figured a lot of things out towards the end of summer. I think going to MSI overall was good for them. I think we saw a lot of vintage G2. LEC is going to have fans back, which I think is a big G2 buff. Obviously, they're young players getting more and more time, more and more experience, getting time to play. I think it's going to be awesome for G2 overall. But this team, whether they are the best team in the LEC, whether they can be one of the top teams in the world, is going to rely on Caps. Caps needs to just go God mode. If Caps plays like one of the best players in the world, G2 can beat anybody. But how often is Caps going to be able to do that? We saw it a couple games at MSI. We didn't see it that often at MSI. I don't know. I don't think they're the most talented team in the LEC on paper. I think they have the highest highs, but on average, I don't think they're consistent enough to win back-to-back titles. We'll see. I have them at number 2 because I have number 1, which is Fnatic. This is, I believe, the super team in the LEC. I believe this is the most talented team on paper. I think they have a lot of good things going for them. I think Razork, who was underwhelming early on in the spring split, started to figure things out by the end of it. Fnatic had some other issues. They kind of imploded, but Upset, Hylissang, amazing bot lane. Humanoid, absolute monster in the mid lane at his best. If Razork's able to be better, Wonder's able to be a rock for this team, playing stuff like, the Gragas and Mundos and Scions and all that stuff, it's going to unlock this bot lane and Hilly to be able to make the plays he wants to do. I think this Fnatic team should be a little bit fired up after falling short in the spring. I think they're going to get things done in the summer. I think they're going to be the best team in the LEC. And I think ultimately Fnatic, G2, and Mad Lions are headed to Worlds. And I think those are going to be 3 pretty strong teams overall that Europe's sending. And I think they're going to be able to do some damage. But that is pretty much every video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below letting me know what you think about my power rankings or what your power rankings are headed into the season. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Consider checking out the first link in the description below for prize picks. Hopefully I catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.